Hey guys, hi, how are you? So curious, look at you, front and center. So good evening to you. Hi, Dave. Welcome to you, Patty. Hello. Do you snore? Oh, all the flooding must be Dave's fault. Are you guys flooding down there? I know New York is, but I didn't know you guys are down there. You talk about the thunder and it's raining there too. We're supposed to get rain tomorrow, which would be good. So over the last couple of weeks, there have been storms, or at least the last week, there have been storms, but they're like all around me, and I've gotten little drizzles here and there, and that's it. Um, Barely enough to wet the top half inch of the ground. It's crazy, but we'll get ours. So you guys picking on Dave night tonight, huh? Wow, Kira, you've gotten like a whole year's worth of rain in a week. Haven't what to look at the rain. You've got a great sense of humor. You really do. You've had 50 inches. Holy buckets! Wow. Chance of rain every day this week. We would be lucky for me here now. Like Matt and Sarah, they had a lot of rain. North, they've had a lot of rain. Duluth, I think, on the north shore of Lake Superior, they were getting some flooding up there. So there's been other areas of Minnesota that have had a lot of rain, but not me. I mean, I would say we are under 10 inches for the whole season, for the whole year. Since spring started, I mean, we had our snow, of course, almost record snowfalls, but yeah, we're way under. I don't even know what our normal rainfall is. It's got to be probably 15 to 20 inches, at least would be our normal, and we're way under. Maybe we're even higher than that for normal. A severe drought this summer. Now water right. It's either feast or famine, right? 58 there. Oh, nice. Um, It is 90 degrees out right now. October 2nd in Minnesota, 90 degrees. It's crazy. It's nuts. Tomorrow, a front is coming in, and by the weekend, we're going to be close to freezing. So there you go. It's so anyway, trying to get some stuff done and everything, and it's nuts, but low temp still 70s. Hey Bex, how are you? Michigan Daffodil, hello. You can take it. Oh, that's good. Your town hasn't gotten rain, only 11 miles away. Wow. Okay. Had a low of 48 already, but 82 tomorrow. We're Judy, hello to you. Rain tomorrow and frost Wednesday night. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull the last of my stuff out of my garden tomorrow, so I can get that all done. I think rain is supposed to start early afternoon, early to mid afternoon, something like that. So you average 36 inches a year. Roads and bridges were washed away. Wow. Your son and fiance have a wedding date. Oh, yay! How exciting. Mother of the groom. Yes, that's great. Congratulations. Um, you're loving this warm weather. I don't mind it if it's 65 or 70, in October, but holy buckets, 90. I think it was 91 or 92 yesterday. So, and I tried to go at the very end of the day, like at 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, because it's getting dark now by 7. and into the greenhouse to work on some last minute things. And it was so hot in there, so hot and so humid. Of course, the Asian beetles have come out. They're swarming now, and so it's like button up everything. You don't want anything. You don't want them getting in anywhere. And so the door closed, and I was working on. It's got an automatic roof window for temperature sensitive and everything. And so what I was trying to do is build a frame around the inside of it so I could put a screen underneath it, because it doesn't have any type of screen due to the nature of the arm that has to swing down and everything for the window to open. So I'm like, I don't want wasps coming in. I don't want, beetles coming in like crazy. I don't want to be swarmed with flies, all that stuff. So I'm trying to rig something up and put all that in. And I was out there maybe an hour or something. I was just drenched. It's just like my face was dripping, my head was drippy. I mean, it was just like, oh my goodness. Just what you need at dinner time, right? It's like, yeah, they're sweating. I was way beyond glowing, guys. It's like, what is it? Women are supposed to glow, not sweat. So yeah, I was glowing a lot. So, uh, true Michigan daffodil. Yep, yep. Hey, Alicia, how are you? Plus made 7 pints of applesauce. Awesome. 5 trays of apple chips. Ooh, you are working it, girl. So happy to catch you live tonight. Oh, okay. I know those. Hey, Donna. Oh, man. They do. They bite and they stink. And until you can kill them, they track poop all over your walls and stuff and windows and everything. So you've got all of these tracks. They have to go by. They're a mess. They're not the cute little ladybugs that people think they are. They are. Oh, yeah. It's. It was a fountain. It was like, and I'd already showered for church that morning, and it was like, okay, come in, shower again, but which was fine. But it was like, man, things are gonna grow well in there. I can just tell you that it's gonna, with the heat and humidity in there. Oh, it's gonna grow well. Really got wet today too. Last night when I did this, oh, it's raining. So, Judy, I hope we get some decent rain tomorrow. We need it so badly. We really do. So, you've allowed your Princess Kitty named. She can have to take your recliner. Sasha. Oh, that's a princess name, isn't it? You had shower outside too. Oh, so anyway, guys, how is everybody? How is your week? What did you do? Anything different? Anything special? How are you harvesting? Mine was just a pure work week. As you know, we were working in the greenhouse. My friends were here for a full week. So we did a lot of other projects and got a lot of stuff done. To stump grinding, to replacing my mailbox, to obviously the greenhouse, and just all kinds of different things. So it was a busy week and an exhausting week, but we got a lot done. And thank goodness the weather was cooler. It stayed pretty much cloudy, and I would say right in the 60s to maybe 70, low 70s or something. And boy, if it were today, 90 degrees with those beetles out here, it had been so miserable. So we had a very, very good week. Lots done. Oh, Bex, that's good. Oh my goodness, that's good. Yes, it was busy. So still no tomatoes. Oh yeah, they're not going to happen now. That's weird that you didn't get any, Donna. Um, The only thing I can think of is that, I mean, have you amended your soil recently, or I wonder, were they seeds that you had that you started from seed and you didn't get any growth from it, or were the plants already there and the plants grew but just they didn't produce? You know that if it's over, what is it, over 85 degrees, I think the temperatures are over 85, it sterilizes all the flowers. They won't pollinate, or they won't, produce any fruit out of that. So even if you have blossoms, it could be that you hit all of that. It's like above, I think it's above either 85 or 90, and then below 55. They're very sensitive right in that range in there. So that might be something like that. You had to bring in your solar oven. You must not be able to bake outside. Oh, because of the rain. Okay. It's still on my list of wanting to get one of those. So, but I could actually probably cook in the greenhouse. I could. Well, I wouldn't be able to dehydrate. It's too humid in there. But Chelsea at Little Mountain Ranch, she cured her onions in her greenhouse. Now her greenhouse is much bigger than mine, but I guess the heat in there would be, as long as it's dry. Maybe the weather is dry, because it's been really humid this last week, so that would be interesting. You're still getting a few yellow cherry tomatoes, plenty of raspberries. Ooh, yes, raspberries. That'll be good. Oh, sorry, is that a bird? Oh, it's a squirrel. I was like, what landed on top of my arbor over the gate into my garden? It's a big old squirrel, and I was just seeing his tail flopping around. So it's like, yeah, they figured out how to get in there and eat everything that's left over. You're busy with Etsy orders? That's good. I'm so glad, Alicia. That's great. Um, you think you just got them in too late? Okay. Hi, Connie and her family and vet same peppers. Oh, I'm so sorry. Um, I hope things improve for you, Connie. I really do. Planted a zucchini seed in August, saw flower today, first for the year. Well, with your climate, you still will get a lot. You will. I've got a couple of zucchini out in the garden yet, and I think I'm gonna, well, with the frost coming this week, they'll be done. So I'm gonna pull those and probably just pull the plants, get the last of the peppers out. My pepper plants are still full of flowers. They're just growing. It's fun to see, but it's like, wow. They like it when it gets a little cooler, and then they flourish. Even though, I mean, they're a hot weather plant, there's just something about the blossoms, just like, okay, they get a little break. It's like, all right, we're gonna flower now. It's time to do our thing. So, oh, Michigan daffodil, you missed it last week. Okay. Will it winter my weather? Okay, yes, it will. I know. Had kids make an origami bird in Sunday school yesterday. It's supposed to be easy, 3-year-old. Well, it's, what can you say? Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, right? Oh, good, Donna. I'm not the only one. So, um, thanks, Alicia. Yes, it is. It was a kit, and it is cedar up like 3 feet or so, the sides all around, and then it's poly panels going up at the sides. I think are 6 feet tall. I think 6 or 7 feet tall, and then it's just the roof goes to a peak, and they're all poly panels on the top. All the frame is all cedar. It's got a door on it, a window that like I said, it'll open when the temperature gets right and everything. I accidentally unscrewed it so it wouldn't work last night. I just took it out because I'm not going to really need it for the next week or so anyway. But anyway, yeah, I was a kid, and so it's 6 feet by 8 feet approximately, and it's got shelves inside, smaller, narrower shelves around up high, probably the 5.5 foot level, maybe. It's just I'm 5'7.5", so it's just like maybe right here, and the then the bench is probably at about 38 to 40 inches, something like that. And both of those go around two sides of the greenhouse. And so the other side is left for whatever you want to do. I could put in more shelves if I wanted to, or more benches, but it would get kind of crowded in there. It's got 5, I think, great big eye screws and hooks in there so I can hang plants in there. I don't know, it's so cool. And a door, of course, and I think I already said that. So when all right, let me draw this out. Okay, so here's my garden. So here's my house, and this is the gate right here they go into, and then all my beds are in here. And then we open up the fence on this side and then put it out there. Eventually, I'm going to open up this section, and so then the fence will be here, and the greenhouse will be completely inside the garden. But we have around here out 2 feet, we have some 4x4 beams and then gravel in there and stuff like that. So with hardware cloth and landscape fabric under the gravel and stuff like that. So that's the general thing with that. So I've got easy access as I'm growing things, the starts and everything. I can bring them right into the beds and do my stuff. And so I think it'll work out well. I wasn't planning on really expanding my garden, but the way it's sitting right now, I could put in a couple more beds over here. And I think I'm going to, I've actually for the last half a year or something been looking at metal beds, and if anybody saw Living Traditions latest video this week, they were showing what kind of beds that they had chosen, and those are actually the ones that I was looking at. That company had actually reached out to me and wanted to give me a low bed. It would only be like 11 inches high or something, and it was smaller, but I wasn't sure. They didn't seem legitimate, so I turned them down. But they are. So anyway, it was kind of cool. But yeah, so I thought, well, if I could, get like maybe 3 of their metal beds, the 17 inches high and probably a 2x6 or something like that, I think. And then I could put them like in this section here and just be able to have a little more space if I open it up like that. So, okay, got to catch up on here. You got hot peppers growing on your plants. Awesome. I ordered it through Costco. They no longer have it, but Home Depot does. Oh, shoot. I was going to get, let me take you guys with me because I don't like just leaving you alone here. Where do I have that? Where are you? Here we go. I think. Yep. Let me get to my manual here. And all right. Hopefully you didn't get too dizzy or anything. Yes, it took the three of us doing it, and it took several days, so it was a lot of work. Now, if you have, 3 or 4 construction guys doing it, you could probably do it in a day, but it is a process. So here it is. Here's the picture of it, just like that. And that's all cedar. So these must be 3.5 to 4 feet then. So, because I know these are 3 feet. So my snow that I get back there in the garden, that will go up to here. So what my plan is over the next couple of weeks is to seal this up with like a satin polyurethane or something like that, to not that cedar needs it, but because that is underneath the snow for so long, and you can just, the moisture can get into it and different things. So I'm just going to seal it up and protect it a little bit. So I think, but it's the Artistry brand. And if anybody's interested in the phone number or anything, let me know. And I mean, it's customer service, you could probably figure out, but I know Home Depot's carrying it. It's now, I got this a year ago and had it in my shed until we could put it together. And it's now about $700 more than what it was. So it's crazy. But if you're interested, put your hand up and let me know. So thanks, Patty. You have a greenhouse company a half a mile from here. Oh, that would be so nice. Oh my goodness. You have metal beds, not those rounded ones. I couldn't afford those. Yeah. True, Dave. True. So, I've got the fencing, and I've got more T-posts and everything. So I've got all the stuff and plenty of weed barrier fabric and stuff like that. So I've got all of that if I, ready to go. It's not a project for this fall. I'm coming to the end of my endurance for this year. I've just done a lot. So I'm famous. Feel too? Okay, walkabout. There you go. Thanks, Dave. Got the Native American seed catalog in the mail. Got it yesterday. Fun looking through it. Ooh, yes, the seeds should be starting to get available. Definitely. Rimmel Greenhouse is in New Hampshire, not far from here. Nice. Yes, they have Michigan daffodil. They have. That would even be something that, like, say you have a family member or a really good friend or something. I mean, you wouldn't want to just do it with any neighbor, but going on it together and share the space so you guys can grow and do your starts together. I don't know. I mean, it's a thought to help share the. Thank you, Patty, putting that out there. Your Artistry Structures. Yeah, their customer service is really good. I had to call them on a couple things, but so yeah, cedar poly greenhouse. It's 7.8 feet by 6.7 feet. So not quite exactly 8 by or 6 by 8, but it's. So what we did was we dug down a trench that would fit, that was the approximate dimensions of the greenhouse. Yes, it will, Patty. It will. And it is such that if I need to replace them, it's not that hard to do. I mean, each panel is caulked in there. So that was part of the process and they send everything. They send the caulking, they send all the hardware, just the tape, everything. So, so anyway, what we did is dug a trench down probably a good 9 inches, probably somewhere in there, 8 to 9 inches down, and then laid railroad ties down there. I don't like the idea of creosote in my yard, but it was the heaviest thing we could have because I get high winds through here. It's nothing for me to get 70 to 80 mile an hour winds, even up to 100, 120 with a storm that can come through. So I needed to make sure something was heavy enough and secure. And those railroad ties, they're 125 pounds a piece. So I got 500 pounds of railroad ties holding it down. And the building itself weighs 450 pounds. So we got 1,000 pounds, a half a ton sitting there. And so just short of a tornado is going to take it, and that would be it. But anyway, so we dug a trench, like I said, laid the railroad ties down, and then took 4x4 treated lumber and screwed it to the railroad ties. And then this sits on top of the 4x4 lumber. So the ties and the 4x4s were the only thing I needed to supply in the way of lumber. Those didn't come with us because some people might want to just sit this on their patio or something like that, and just go on concrete. So there are different ways that they can secure it. But I mean, it does come with a lot of bolts and different things like that. But so the 4x4s, then we just filled in with dirt around there. And my friend, in between here on the ground, because the grass is so aggressive and everything, he actually cut down about 3 or 4 inches there and just scraped a lot of the grass and weeds off. And then we laid hardware cloth. So I've got all the wire throughout, all the way underneath here and then out 2 feet, because they've got gophers and moles and all kinds of things. So I didn't want them, coming up in there. So get the hardware cloth and then 2 layers of landscape fabric laid down inside here, and then the fabric staples holding everything in there and together. And so it goes all underneath here, and then, like I said, we filled it with gravel around there too. So anyway, that was a whole day process right there, just taking care of that. Your granddaughter, oh wow, Judy, I'm sure I missed you already, but thanks for coming. If you're still on, but I was running for homecoming queen. Cool. I didn't know that. Creosote doesn't move in water, not water, so that creosote will never leach out. Let's stay right there. Okay, I can dig it out. Okay, that's good to know, Dave. Thank you. I've got you guys have heard the train running before when I've been out there, but so I've got the Canadian Pacific Railway that comes by 3 blocks from me, right at the other end of town, and they've been working on the railroad. They've been replacing the ties this summer, and so they've got all of the discarded ones laying all around and everything. And of course, it belongs to the railroad company, and so I don't want to take those, but I called them and asked them if it was possible for me to purchase them from them. It's like, can I go directly to them, thinking maybe I could get a price break, because they're $25 a piece at Menards, or 27, something like that, $25 or $27, which is outrageous for a discarded piece of wood. But anyway, they're like, no, it said by law, they are not allowed to sell to anyone, or they can't give them away. They can't sell them to the public. It's against the law. So because of that creosote. So anyway, so I had to buy them from Menards. Well, because they're so heavy, I couldn't go and pick them and put them in my car. I can't do 500 pounds of railroad ties in my car. It just doesn't, that would break everything. So I have Menards deliver them here. Well, a couple of them were in really tough shape. I mean, chunks of the wood just falling away and just disappear. So we had to like put bricks underneath them and everything to kind of fill in the gaps and stuff. So, I mean, it's like really your customers pay for this, and it's like, why can't you give the best quality to your people? So, and it wasn't a time, it's like, oh, I'll throw this in the car and then run back up and say, hey, you kind of didn't do good by me here. So anyway, they we made do and filled it in, like I said, with bricks and gravel and different things. So, but it was very secure, very, very secure, and got all this. So, so when's the tour? It is so hot in there right now. I told you guys I would do a live from the greenhouse, but now it's 90 degrees outside, and the window doesn't open right now, so it's like 130 degrees in there. I'm not going in there. That's why I was melting last night. They got a little extra dirt and it's gone. Okay, good. What's that curious? I like the poison guy or something. Gophers most need food too. No. You had a rail line through your area as a kid. They tore up the rails, recycled, but left the ties for people to take. Nice. Be more than the crease. I'm sure, Patty. I'm sure. Yeah. There's when they were before they started and they had all of the new ones all lined up here ready to do it. I actually stopped one of the guys who was working on the railroad and I asked him and I said, are these free or available for people to take? And he said, no, but I can't. He said, nobody's going to be watching if they just disappear at night or anything like that. So it's basically like, I can't tell you that you can take them, but if you take them, nobody's going to prosecute you type of thing. So, but that wouldn't have been right anyway. So, just left in a neat stack waiting for you to take. I know. So, at least a better price. Yeah. So, hey, Kathy, how are you? Get a cooling sheet for the warm months. It really helps keep you out. Oh, I didn't know there was such a thing. Are you talking about putting it over the top, like a shade cloth or something? Or is it something in the greenhouse itself? Yeah, Patty, we've got trains. I would say probably at least they're 3 or 4 an hour, at least. So they're just coming by all the time. So telephone poles are people are using sawmills to make lumber and like building cottages. Okay, so true. Exactly how it was here. They leave, hoping you would take it. Yeah. I couldn't have moved one myself though either. I mean, at 125 pounds of a tie, it's try to get it into the back of my car or something. So it goes over the entire roof. Okay. Let's sign those into lumber. We had a big old pole at the end of our driveway. There was an electric pole in front of your house. I gave it away. That's a lot of trains. Yeah, it's it is a lot. So and some of them are like 200 cars. I mean, they're substantial. So anyway, this is one type of greenhouse, and I am actually really thrilled about it. I have been thinking about one for years and trying to figure out what to do and everything else. And one of the reasons those particular friends came over to help me is because they got the same one last year and they knew how to put it together. They knew all the little tricks and the different things with that. And I was like, oh, I saw it last year, theirs. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. It's exactly the size that I want. Cause don't want anything big. And I've got my little mini in here that I can do my starts in, but you want something to help extend the season and be outside and everything else like that. Um, so they said, if you get it, said we'll come and help you put it up next year. So it just so happened that with all of our schedules, this was the first time that we were able to get together and do it. But it was great. It was a very good week, and like I said, a lot of work. So I've been doing laundry all day today and trying to get things back together and trying to take care of stuff. So I put in the show notes below a couple links to different kinds of greenhouses, so you guys can have images and different things like that you want. Now, one article starts from your backyard type of thing all the way up to major commercial greenhouses, but the ones I'm going to talk about are ones that you could do in your yard, really, just the different kinds of ones. Catch up on here. You had a rail crossing 5 miles from folks. 10,000 ties there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was years ago, but now they're just, Minnesota's got so many laws that they just tie you up into. So how far am I from the border? Probably 5 hours, 5 or 6 hours. So I'm not sure. What would that be in miles? 250 miles maybe from the border, somewhere around that. Maybe not even, maybe 200 miles. Idea for a drink to try with choking, drinking decaf drinks. The only thing I can think of that I've heard of with people choking it is to use a thickener in there, so you can still have your drinks, but it just thickens them up so that you don't choke or aspirate or anything like that. So that's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, Caitlin, I'm not a medical person, so I don't really know. Sorry, honey. Thanks, Dave. I really appreciate that. Instructables. Okay. You're about 90 miles by road to the other border. Wow. So, so anyway, kind of start out like, what is a greenhouse? And it's a structure where vegetation grows inside. And that's really simple, just basically that. It provides an ideal environment to magnify or reduce sunlight as needed. It helps to control the temperature, irrigate more efficiently. Greenhouse gardening is rarely as simple as tossing up a structure and bringing in plants. It's going to be a little more complicated, and I know that. Transparent roofing and insulating walls, controlled ventilation, and easy access to water make all this possible. What I plan on doing is, let me get back to this picture here, because the water will run off the eaves on either side. I'm going to put some, I don't know if you can hear the train whistle right there. I'm going to put some gutters along either side here on the back there and on this side, and collect rainwater out here. So I've got rainwater right for watering in my greenhouse. And possibly if I get enough, I could use it for the other part of my garden too. So we'll see. Yeah, choo-choo time. Thank you, Alicia. The Instructable link has a whole bunch of greenhouse people. They have instructions on how to build. Nice. And I know that, there's a ton of channels out there of greenhouses, different kinds of things, hoop houses, just all kinds of things that people have DIY'd and, that work great and everything. This was just, all the materials were here, the price was right, and it's got all the shelves in here. It's stable for me, again, with the winds that come through here and the storms. I wouldn't be able to do just a plastic thing over hoops. It just wouldn't. And with the snow that I get, it would last maybe 2 years or something, and then I'd have to do it all over again. So I really wanted something that was going to be last and last. So okay, continue on here. Not all greenhouses amplify light. Some provide shade to protect plants that can't tolerate full sun. So, did you ever think about that? A greenhouse, that if you have too much sun, hello, Curie, if you have too much sun out there, then you might have one that's going to provide shade for your plants. So, in that intense heat, it's not frying and and getting all crispy and dying in the way that if you could have something that protected in that way. um, like who was it, Kathy or Donna, who said putting a shade cloth over it, and it's like excellent idea. um, and that might be something that like you said, being able to grow something in the summer when it's so hot and still have it out there or in the greenhouse. So I have to think about that. I've got all my beds around, so I don't know about growing it in the summer or not. But anyway, that's interesting. Do you enjoy the quiet? Oh yeah. Some provide shade to protect the plants from full sun and high temps. Some incorporate sunny and shady zones so a diverse ecosystem can flourish. So that would, obviously, in my little house, I couldn't really have zones, but if you had something like a high tunnel and you had one that was shaded and another one that wasn't or something. Again, Kevin and Sarah from Living Traditions, they have decided that, they're going to grow most of their food in their greenhouse. It worked out so well for them. They could put the shade cloth over, in the hot Missouri sun and everything. It worked out really great for them. They're putting in some raised beds now. So that's their next big project. But anyway, so types of greenhouse. Although there's no reason a greenhouse can't have a structure as strong as a house, most have rudimentary frames made of metal pipe, plastic pipe, or wood. Plastic piping is the least expensive material, but it lacks the rigidity needed for a large structure. And I needed that for my weather. Like I said, not only for storms, but the weight of the snow in the winter. And as it is, I'm going to have to make sure I keep this roof cleared off in the winter. I'm going to have to clear the snow off of it because those are poly panels. They're not, glass or metal or anything like that. Another reason I put it, I know I'm getting sidetracked, all these things. So another reason that I put it in this corner is because you're seeing it opposite of me. Is house backwards for you, or is it just that I'm seeing it that way? If it's backwards for you. So anyway, so my house is here, and I have to snow blow kind of up to this area. So if I snow blow just a straight path and just continue on, then I can just reach the roof here from the greenhouse. If I don't, I'm snow blowing down this way, and then I'd have to snow blow here and then snow blow all the way over here and reach. And it was just like, that's not happening. And so not backwards. Okay. So so I had to position it just right, and it had to be because the window is on the other side here. The door and the back needed to be east-west facing, and then the longer sides had to be north-south facing. So so I was, it took me like this last year just to try to figure out exactly where I wanted. And I'm glad that I went through a winter in trying to figure it out, because it's like, I thought I wanted to have it over on the other side. And then as I was clearing snow during the winter, it was like, not happening. I'm not doing it over there. And so I figured, well, this way I could just keep going straight and get back there to clear the snow because it's, it gets 3 feet of snow back there. So I just don't want to be having a lot of extra work out there. So a strong structure for sure. Yep. Didn't have the ribs close enough together and they were crushed. Yes, that happens. Absolutely. And even like Stivers do the hoop, um, a hoop and what do they use? Cattle panels, I think, with plastic over it. And they've had bad storms that have come through and ripped those up too. So that's really good. Hey, Patty G. Hi. So, okay, back to my things. I have 4 pages and I barely started here. So plastic piping, they have other tips and everything. And then wood is a good thermal insulator, important in cold climates. I'm also going to plan on putting some foam board insulation around the inside of where the wood is and everything. So my friends are going to do that too. They live 3 hours north of me. And so they're even colder. But it will keep it even warmer in there. So allow me to extend the season into November to be able to grow in there, which will be great. You've seen sheds blown over and it doesn't get as windy. Okay. Do the research, build it right the first time. It's crazy how much extra work through some. So true, Patty. And when I'm spending this kind of money and doing this big of a project, I take my time on it. And it's just like, it might take me a couple of years to get there, something, but it's like, I need to think it through, make sure it's exactly what I want. Because like you said, going through the work, spending the money on it, and it's like, I don't want to do it again. It's just like, do it once. And that's why when I rebuilt my beds that I burned them. And, yeah, last week I also put another coating of timber oil around them to protect them again for the winter. So, trying to take care of them so that they will last a long time. So, metal piping, either aluminum or steel, is long lasting and durable, but it isn't a good insulator, especially aluminum. So, you can think of if the temperatures drop below freezing, especially. It's just going to be a cold conductor in there and make your greenhouse even colder. So large greenhouses often have well-insulated glass walls and roofs, but clear polycarbonate, which is what I have, acrylic, and fiberglass also work, especially for smaller structures. Glass is a traditional greenhouse material. Did you know that? That is a traditional material. I just keep thinking of Jess at Roots and Refuge, how her, she had a little glass one that Maya made for her, and at their last property, and now she's got this great big gorgeous one. So, but yes, windows glass is the glazing is what they call it. So okay, cold soda can in your hand. So true. Yes. You want to build a glass greenhouse? Oh, that'd be so cool, Dave. Salvage glass. Yep. That would be so great. Because building it from new is expensive, difficult to install, and can crack, but it insulates well. It looks best and transmits light the best. But knowing what you build, you would build something really solid with great quality. Acrylic is also expensive, but it's long lasting, and unlike glass, can be bent and molded to a degree to fit a curved frame. Polycarbonate is what I have, is a strong and lightweight material and budget friendly compared to glass and acrylic. It's available as flexible sheeting and tends to diffuse light rather than transmit it directly. Fiberglass is the least expensive greenhouse material. It works well in extreme climates and is almost as transparent as glass when it's new, but it tends to turn yellow over time and reduce light transmission. So I wouldn't want to use that, I don't think. You saw a news story about a woman whose father made a chapel. Glass bottles. Oh, that would be so cool. Thank you, Donna. Um, yes. So some of the different styles, I'm going to kind of go through it quickly. I only have about 10 minutes left. But if you want to have the effect of a greenhouse or a cold frame or something, but this is, you don't have the room, it's completely out of the budget and all that kind of thing, you can start by just getting a clear, great big, like a Rubbermaid bin, just get one of the big, like 50 quart type of bins or something, and turn it upside down and put it out there, put your have the cover on, under on the bottom there, and then you could put your plants in there. You would just have to make sure that you like prop it or something to let some airflow under there in really hot days. But you could have your starts out there and have your little greenhouse, and you could have 10 of those if you wanted, and really do some great things with it. So I think that glass greenhouses are more practical the further north you go. So true. So true. Yeah, Patty. Yes. Green Dream. I know. Isn't that cool? They did for several of their windows and different things. So hoop houses look simple. They do. So greenhouses can be freestanding or connected to a building or another greenhouse. Some structures are more appropriate for large scale growing, while others work best when space is limited. So you have a gable style, which is basically what mine is. The traditional gable construction with straight walls and sloping roofs that create a triangular gable on either end of the structure works well for a greenhouse. It's the most common design, providing plenty of sun and room to move inside. It's easy to build. It works as well for large greenhouses as well as small ones that fit on a porch or a veranda. So you need a pretty good porch for mine to fit there, but they have even smaller ones too. But 4x6 or something, that's too little. I certainly didn't want anything bigger than this, but let's put it this way: I don't really need anything bigger than this at this point. All greenhouses need to be clean. There will be moss or mold and dirt inside that needs to be removed. Good point. Good point. Thank you, Patty. I will probably do that before winter, and then again, certainly in the spring. But it smells so good in there because it's cedar, and the heat in there is just like, oh, it's wonderful. Okay, an A-frame, similar to a gable style structure and even easier to build. An A-frame, it's just on the ground here, just A-frame, has long sloped roofs that extend all the way to the ground. An A-frame maximizes light, but space and airflow are limited underneath the parts of the roof close to the ground. A-frames tend to be better for storage than growing. Then you have a geodesic dome. A geodesic dome is an incredibly strong structure that holds up well in severe weather conditions and looks really cool. I would say if you watch my Self-Reliance, Sean James, he's got a geodesic dome greenhouse there. Yeah, Jim and Jess, it's a geodesic structure, but it's kind of open. It's like half open and different things like that. So anyway, you can do a lot of really cool stuff in there. You can make your own frame by mass producing sticks or rods of the same length and assembling them with connectors in a series of triangles. It sounds like a kid's game that we had. The what was it called? Connectors or something. It wasn't like we had Lincoln Logs and then something else, but it was anyway. It was, although he sold it, wasn't his vibe. Oh, he sold that one? I didn't know that. Wow. Connect 4. Okay, there you go. Erector set. That is connects. Yeah. So basically it's the same thing. So if you need to figure out how you want to build it, get that game and put it all together, and you go, oh, and then I need to make a bigger one that connects. Most people will purchase a kit that includes everything you need, which is what I did. Even so, assembly is more complicated than other structures. That's a geodesic dome. A Gothic arch is something of a hybrid of gable and A-frame. The walls are framed with aluminum or steel poles that curve gracefully to join with a ridge cap, excuse me, and form a pointed roof, reminiscent of a medieval cathedral. It's a strong structure that easily sheds snow and rain. It's easy to assemble and arguably the most elegant type of greenhouse. That would have been really cool. The curves necessitate a flexible covering such as polycarbonate film. So if you did a poly structure, okay, very cool. I was just like, oh, that'd be so neat. A hoop house is constructed from a series of semicircular hoops. The hoop house is an easy to construct structure. You attach the ends of the hoops to base plates or stick them in the ground, and they automatically form the supports for the walls and roof. Hoop structures are ideal for covering long rows, and they provide more room near the walls than in an A-frame structure. They must be covered with something flexible like polycarbonate film, which is like plastic sheeting, and they don't shed snow and water as well as other structures. So that's why I can't do that here. But I do have kind of that setup in some of my beds. I can put the poles in there and cover them if I'm going to get a frost, or or let's say the cabbage moths are really bad or something like that. So, okay, Patty, thanks for coming in here. Hoops fail here in heavy snows. Yep. Brent Haas is a friend of yours that has a geodesic dome. Oh, cool. Yeah, there's a lot of people trying things. So, Garden Answer is a beautiful greenhouse, but it's called a Hartley. I think that's brand name. Okay. Another style is a sawtooth. The sawtooth design can be similar to a gable, or it can have an arched roof and sides similar to a hoop house. The roof on one side is higher than the other, creating a space for windows that can be opened to provide extra ventilation. I suppose if you want to have it like higher on the north side and then sloping down so you can see, so that you get a lot more of the southern sunlight in there and everything. Mine works well because in the summer, although I don't know if I'll have too much in here in the summer, but anyway, I like mine. An uneven span. That's more of what I was talking about. So I won't even go to a lean-to is kind of simple in that way. It slopes away from an existing structure. It's attached to it. It's ideal for urban properties with little space. Even though the side facing the building is dark, radiated heat warms the greenhouse and the building adds stability. So, abutting, A-B-U-T-T-I-N-G, abut. Similar to a lean-to, an abutting greenhouse attaches to an existing structure, but the building wall forms one of the ends of the greenhouse, not a wall. So when built in front of a door, the greenhouse can double as a sunroom. So there you go. You could do that. So anyway, like I said, I have the things below. The links are down there and everything. So people build a lean-to, open it up to their home. Those are pretty neat. Yep. Just like what I was saying. And that actually works out pretty decent. I mean, if it's another way to heat your home too, in certain weather. I mean, it won't heat it in 30 below weather. It'll be a source of chilliness. But anyway, there's just all kinds of things you can do and different materials you can use. And if it's something that you're really looking at or really serious about, do your homework, do your research, and really study it. So, that's cool, Dave. Yeah, so I don't know what your house layout looks like or anything because you've really just showed your garden and your chicken mansion. So, um, that's so many great ideas. Anyone can have a greenhouse. Yes, yes, and it doesn't have to be, a 10 by 20 thing. It can be, a 3 by 5. It can be really small. It just whatever your needs are and whatever your space is, whatever your budget is, you can do something. And um, just to help to, like I said, not only extend your growing season, but help to start things out there too. So, all right, guys, it is after the hour and I got to run. So, so good to talk to you. I get to see everybody again. And we'll see what the weather is next week, whether or not I'll be able to be out in the greenhouse. It's already getting dark outside. So I would have to probably come in halfway through. But anyway, you guys take care. God bless. Always have hope. And we'll see you next week. Good night. Thank you for being here.